Hi, welcome to today's class. And today we are going to do a poem from Flamingo, class 12th, English core CBSE. And this poem, An Elementary School Classroom in a Slum, is written by Stephen Spencer. Stephen Spencer was known for his leftist ideology initially, and later, disillusioned from the ideology, he co-authored the famous book, The God That Failed. In this poem, he was talking about the condition of slum kids. You must have seen the schools, the elementary schools that he is talking about in a slum. The elementary school classroom, you can picture the condition of a classroom like this. Okay, so Stephen Spencer was known for his support for, where the social as well as socialism and where all people are treated equally and every single one is given equal opportunity. So the class struggles and the subaltern movement, all those things that he was a part of it. And now, let us come to the poem. The poem actually is dealing in 4 stanzas. So let us begin with the first stanza of the poem, An Elementary School Classroom in a Slum. So stanza 1. Okay, the stanza 1 is talking about the condition of the kids in that school. You can look at them, far, far from gusty waves. The gusty, waves that can be, accompanied with wind. Here, gusty on a seashore does not mean, it may be a metaphor for energetic, where all the affluent kids live, rich kids live. So far away from the rich part of the city where rich people live, far away from those affluent part, you look at the face of these kids and they're like rootless weeds. They're unwanted. That's why the poet calls them the rootless weeds. They are not rooted. They have no place of their own. And they are called rootless weeds, unwanted plants. All the good plants in a farm, we call they are part of the harvest, but the unwanted things you remove, they are rootless weeds, another thing to describe them. And their hair all stuck around their skull or pallor, colorless. So because of malnutrition. And just the first stanza is talking about what kind of kids you can see in this classroom. First, there's a tall girl. And this tall girl, her head is bowed down. Why some people keep your head down? Generally, when we are proud, when we have done something great, we always keep our head high. When you are disappointed, when you are abused, when you are an unwanted plant or rootless weed, of course, the weight, when you come to know that there is no hope left, of course, your head will bend down. Then, there is a paper-seeming boy. A boy as thin as a paper-seeming boy. You can understand because of malnutrition how thin they get. And this boy with the rat's eyes, when you're always being accused of something, whenever you're lying on the street, everyone comes and kick you around. So always you're alert, like rat's eyes. And then you have a boy with the twisted bones, a disease, a gnarled disease he must have received from his father. Then there is at the back of the class a boy, unnoted or unnoticed by anybody. He's sitting there. His eyes are full of dreams. Though he is living in a slum, he thinks of having a life somewhere in a beautiful forest, in a tree house, watching the squirrels play. So this is the first stanza, is describing what kind of kids you may come across in a slum, or at least in an elementary classroom in a slum. So that's the end of the first stanza. And when we come to the second stanza, the classroom is described. The elementary classroom, you cannot think it is going to be some high profile classrooms. All slums, they have dilapidated, half-made condition, not a proper regular classroom that comes to our mind when we talk about a classroom. So in this classroom, Once it was painted white, but because of regular wear and tear and the children studying there, it has sour cream color. The color has faded. You can understand. And not only the color has faded, on the walls there are a lot of donations. When some people come, oh, look at these poor kids, let us do something for them. So what they do, their walls are dirty, their slum outside is dirty, so let us donate something. You know what they donate? They donate beautiful pictures so that they can look at these pictures and be happy, for God's sake. And you believe what kind of pictures you can see? You can imagine there's a Shakespeare. You can see the picture of Shakespeare, his bald head, and Shakespeare's head is there, the bust of Shakespeare. Then you have scenery where it is cloudless dawn, morning time, a beautiful scenery. Then cities which have huge dome structures, beautiful large cities like Rome, maybe like Istanbul. Cities, huge cities. Pictures are there. Then the beautiful valleys, the Tyrolese Valley is a valley in Austria on the side of Alps mountains, known for its beautiful scenery. The bell towers, the flowers, the Tyrolese Valley, beautiful scenery is shown there. And then there is a map. A political map. It's called open-handed because it is not describing a particular, maybe some countries together, not one geographical location or geographical country. So this map is actually, it is awarding the world its world, because this map shows this place belongs to this country, this place belongs to this country. They award, and the slum kids know one to award what or where they should live, where they should study. And for these kids, it's not the map their world, it is their window. It is their window that they see outside. But when they look outside, what do they see? Foggy street, narrow street with lead. Lead is a symbol of gloom and unhappiness. Lack. There is no future, there is no hope. Fog itself is a symbol of hopelessness, desperation. When they look outside, they look at these pictures, but when they look through this window, they cannot see any hopeful thing. Everything is, what we call it, they are far away from any of the good things that we can, the beautiful rivers, the beautiful caves, the beautiful games the kids play like Stars of the Words. They're far away from all these things. So that is the second stanza for you. Okay, now we come to the third stanza. Of course, it's beginning slightly interesting. Shakespeare, the great playwright, is wicked. He's not a good man. Why? Because the stories he tells, the beautiful stories in all his dramas and poems, talks about the palaces and all those great love. These kids know they will never be able to live a life that is shown in the stories written by Shakespeare. So in order to achieve something, in order to get something, at least to come closer to it, they are tempted or forced to steal. Slum kids are forced to steal to get a better life. And that's why Shakespeare is called wicked. And this slightly wickedly moving in their crammed halls, the house they live cannot be called a house, it's a hall, crammed, without space. When they wickedly, slyly they move around, you can look at their condition. Their skins are sagging because of malnutrition and the bones are peeping out. Their bones are peeping out, and you can imagine their life and the broken. If someone has to wear a spectacle, it is broken many times and they stick it together like the broken glasses you can see on the floor on a rock. So the broken glass is a symbol of their broken lives. And they look outside and they can see the foggy slum. There is no hope. And everywhere, wherever they turn, they look, they can only see foggy space. So the poet is asking, in their map, show slums everywhere as big as doom, worse than their case. Because when they see better life, they're tempted to go wrong. So you have to show the maps where worse things are, like doom, like hell. That's true. That kind of maps they should be shown. So that is the end of the third stanza. And now we come to the fourth and the final stanza. And And the poet is giving a suggestion how we can improve their condition, how we can save these kids. How? Unless a governor, an inspector, or a visitor, some governor of that particular district, or an inspector of schools, or any other rich benevolent visitor, unless if they don't intervene and unless they do something, this particular map or the window is going to bury them in a catacomb. So their life, the slum, the room is like a catacomb. Catacomb is an underground place where in the ancient times people were buried, the underground cellars. And this is in the old Mayan cultures, ancient cultures, underground chambers were built. So they were called catacombs. So this, their life, their slum becomes the catacombs unless these people intervene. So they have to intervene, then they need to break out of these catacombs like zombies coming out. Break until the town hears their noise. They come, break out of it. And when they come, break out of it, we have to show them the green field, the azure, blue sky and the golden sands. Let them run on that. Let them find the beauties of nature and let their tongues run naked into books. That means so earnestly let them read. The main purpose is to give them education. The only way to take them out of this peril, this difficulty, is to give them education. You give them education. Let them turn the leaves of the white leaves of the book and the green leaves of the world. Let them be educated. And finally, let them know this truth that history is theirs, whose language is a sun. The language of the sun is nothing. Sun is the sole one in our solar system. Is independent. Does not depend. We all move around sun. So let them be independent. Let them stand their own feet by providing them with education. So that's what we, the visitor or the governor or the inspector, need to do to help these people. So these kids all over the world can see malnutrition, hunger, suffering. Thousands and millions of children die every year because of this. And most of them who survive won't get the basic education. Education is the only tool with which we can change the world. Thank you.